The most dangerous stuff are the guys that are in the dating space who are literally paying prostitutes to sleep with their clients. That is a big issue that I've seen. And the clients think that they like learn to get good with women, and they give these really great testimonials.
So I see you as actually living the life, but I'm a marketer by trade, and I see people like they don't even rent the car, like they just take a picture in front of the car. The model, they paid a model a couple $100s for a photo. They're creating this image that they're living the life just to get sales of a product that often stinks because they aren't living the life and they're really just trying to get a quick buck. You are living the life that people are pretending to live. I guess the two-part question is, what are your thoughts on those people that are pretending? And the bigger question, is it what it's made out to be?
So it depends on which field we're talking about. Are we talking about the pretenders that are in the dating field? That I think is dangerous because some of these guys are actually bad, giving bad advice. And they're in the dating space and they're pretending like they know what they're talking about when they don't. They're just copying what they read. Like there's a few guys out there right now, and I don't mean to call them out, but they're like not even changing my words. They're teaching social circle programs and they're like literally copying me word for word. And that's not scary, but it is kind of scary that like you said before, they're like going up to other people's tables and taking pictures of girls that they don't even know. That part I have an issue with. The crypto CBD NFT crowd that like rent a Lambo, take a photo with it and have a fake watch. That's dangerous. It is, but to a certain extent, like humans are manipulated by seeing signs of status and wealth. This is one of the reasons why Grant Cardone shows his wealth to let you know that he's successful. Even my buddy Bradley, he finally showed that he bought a Ferrari. He has 2 all black Ferraris, black on black Ferraris. And then my man, Wes Watson. I mean, the guy has like 6 Phantoms now. I mean, he's just in ridiculous level of cars. Also, my other friend, Steve Demopoulos, he's a defense attorney, or he's a personal injury attorney here in Vegas. And this guy just showed like he was in the valet at Paris with $2 million worth of cars. No, more than that, like $4 or $5 million worth of cars that were his staff was driving. And in doing so, it created so much buzz online that it got him more customers. I don't know the answer to this, Ben. I'm not going to just come out there and just say it's all bad. I think if you have a really good product and you're not specifically saying, I got this, I made all this money and I can teach you to make this money. I think the problem is if you say this is yours, that's problematic. But if you say I'm driving a Lambo and I can teach you how to make enough money to drive a Lambo and you can't, I think that's a big problem. I think that at that point you're being intentionally deceitful. But there is some fake it till you make it with everyone. Like no matter what the advertisement you do, you're going to show the best parts of yourself. Even with my ads, it's me with a bunch of beautiful women at all these different events. I don't show parts of me like when I'm in the shower, just barely waking up, right? I have better parts of my day that I try to show. So we're all faking it to a certain extent. But I do think it gets a little bit dangerous. But for me, mostly though, the most dangerous stuff are the guys that are in like the dating space who are literally paying prostitutes for to sleep with their clients. That is a big issue that I've seen. And the clients think that they like learn to get good with women, and they give these really great testimonials. And then guys also like, you'll see this often where you'll see guys, they'll be in somewhere in South America and they'll be like, oh, I created a harem, or I'm really good, or Eastern Europe or something like that. And they'll talk about all the girls they hooked up with. And I'm like, yeah, you're in a country with no middle class, of course, like that's what happened. That to me, of all the things, that is the one that is the most, the scariest one.
That's gotta be scary. Cause I mean, better than I do, but when it comes to meeting a girl, dating a girl, guys or girls, no matter what you do, whether you're polyamorous, so whether you're getting married, it doesn't matter. It's got to be one of the most important decisions we ever make. And if we learn the wrong social skills, that's tremendously detrimental, is it not?
Yeah. In general, the world is going to teach you the wrong social skills, in part because the right social skills, some people will say you sound arrogant or overly confident. And also the majority of interactions, like what we're doing right now, is over Zoom. The majority of interactions are going to be text messages or through DMs. They're going to be 2-dimensional or even 1-dimensional. And so because of that, you don't learn the level of social interaction that, like, say, someone did just one generation previously. So yeah, that's a big deal. Well, I'll point out one other thing. I have a couple of friends of mine, like Ryan Stewman. He's a great example. Ryan will go off and he'll explain why he gets private jets. He says, well, I'll charter a jet and then I'll hit up a bunch of our clients and then we'll all travel on the jet together and we'll get to go there cheaply. He's not bragging about how much money he is. He's actually teaching you how to like game the system. I have some friends of mine, Eli Facenda and Tommy Longren. These guys actually do travel hacks where they teach you how to quadruple the number of points that you get for all the cars that you travel with. Again, Ryan Stewman, there's a watch dealer that he goes to, and the watch dealer will let him wear a watch, and he's sold watches to people at seminars, and then the guy just gives him another watch. Once he gives him the money, he gives him another watch, and so he gets to wear a $180,000 watch. But he doesn't front like he bought all this. He actually tells you the hacks, and to me, because he's giving value, that's why I like Stewman so much. Ryan Stewman is a hardcore closer, is because he does stuff like that. Same thing. I was talking to Dan Fleischman the other day. He's like, I try to charter private, but the thing is, like, Southwest Airlines is just so much better for me. He's like, I use Southwest for everything. I appreciate stuff like that. And so I think some of that stuff is cool. This is the other thing, Ben, we don't talk about, is like the opposite are my friends who are extremely wealthy. Like the CEO of Wish, the founder of Wish is a buddy of mine, Peter Zasluski. And then so is Dan Bilzerian. These guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I know Pascal Moa, who owns Moa Jewelry. And then there's a couple of the guys like that where I hang out with every once in a while. My buddy, Jeff Franklin, the guy who created Full House. These are guys that are all worth at least $200-300 million. In some case, and Pascal, I think, over $1 billion. But like the thing is, when you hang out with these guys, it's quite the opposite. Like, they are not as ostentatious. They have the money. Dan is obviously the example. Dan has the yacht and the helicopter and the private jet. But for the most part, like, these guys are the opposite of ostentation, but they're not trying to sell a product. The guys who I see who are actually trying to show, like the guy who just made a little bit money in solar and he's trying to sell you his solar product, that guy is actually showing more women and more bottle service and more Lamborghinis than the guy who actually has all that stuff.
Talk more about that. So what's the guy who's making 10, 20K a month, or maybe they hit their first million? What do they look like versus the person that has the 500 million? What's the big difference there?
It's impossible to say. Like, here's the thing. I think we're getting to a point where people can kind of see through it. You'll notice with me, it's an Apple Watch. I drive an old Lexus. I always wear black t-shirts. I would say I make a pretty good living. I have over 850 clients. The business is fantastically successful. It's an 8-figure business. You don't ever see signs of wealth in anything I do. And the reason why I personally don't do that is because when I teach you networking, I want to teach you networking using zero money. That's one of the first things I try to teach guys to do. And so if I was sitting there and I was like, hey, throw a huge event, a charity event on your yacht, people would be like, I don't have a yacht. Like, that doesn't work. So for me, I'm like, what you need to do is contact the SPCA, say, hey, we're going to help you with the social media for this gala. And then we're going to invite about 700 female influencers to your event. Then we're going to go on and we're going to create flyers for you, flyers for each individual girl that's coming. And then we're going to try to get some celebrities to come to your event. If I'm the SPCA, I'm like, thank you. Hell yes, let's do that. And that costs you $0 to do what I just explained. And so that's what I try to teach guys to do. So you're saying, it's really funny because there's two parts to this. Number one is, not every guy who's doing a coaching program is trying to show ostentatious wealth. There's a few guys I saw. Have you ever seen that one ad on Meta? I actually want to steal this. He was driving in one of those mini, like, child Lamborghinis, like the real small ones. And he's driving around, check me out in my Lambo. And he was wearing like a fake crown. And then he was like making fun of all the Lambo bros. That part was really funny. The thing that I do think is funny, I think I heard this from Ryan Pineda. I definitely heard this from Jeremy Miner. And that was the guy in your industry who makes low 6 figures, who just won't listen. He thinks he knows everything. That is an issue that happens with the low 6-figure guy a lot of times. Like, they're a salesperson and they're like, hey, I make $120,000 a year. These techniques don't work for me. And then, like, I know people who make $500,000 a year off just commissions. Like, so you don't know what you don't know. For me, I think one of the most important things to do is, like, for instance, my friend Wes Watson, he's probably doing $4 million a month just selling a low ticket offer. So he goes direct to cart. And then he uses text messaging to go back and forth with his clients. And it's really funny because he gives you his actual number when you buy his program. Like, you can actually text him. And the thing with him is he has no sales team. He's doing a low ticket with no sales team, 4 million, 90% profit. I'm doing like maybe 44% profit, and I've got a 15-person sales team, and I'm trying to grow as fast as Wes, but I can't. Like, Wes is just exploding. I try to learn so much from watching him, watching Brad Lee. Ryan Pineda has a 10K program that he's doing right now. He's going to come out with another 3K program. And we go over, so for a 10K, you're going to want a sales team. For a 3K program, you're probably going to go direct to cart. My friend Casey Zander, he has a low ticket offer he's doing. Dan Bilzerian is considering a high ticket or a low ticket offer for his course that he's got coming up. The ultimate low ticket offer, the first one, the one that started it all, was 67 Steps by Ty Lopez. And I talk to Ty sometimes about this whole concept. So these are all, really interesting things that you can find. But your original question about ostentatious displays of wealth, I think there's a small subset that it's doing that, and that is the lifestyle and dating guys. Does that make sense? The married guy with kids, he's not going to go that much for the Porsche. Like, he doesn't care quite as much. He just wants to provide for his family and get his kids into a good college. Whereas the guy who's like young and single, why is he doing Amazon FBA? Why is he doing solar? So he can meet hotter women. Those guys, that kind of stuff affects them a little bit more. The Lambo and the pretty girl and the AP watch.